Alright, 3. Developing a steam boiler system water treatment program complete with the boiler water treatment program will include takes into account the industrial development guideline with the water quality of the boiler water quality limit the water treatment of the industrial ranking of the suggested water limits associated with the American Society of Mechanical Engineers and American Boiler Manufacturers Association, the U.S. Army, United States Army Corps of Engineering. Limited developed three organizations are not identical. Furthermore, the limits are actually only guidelines. In some cases, the limits have been exceeded with the boilers. The operation with unacceptable impact. However, the limits should be considered the prudent, safe, with the practical with the guidance table 3.1 through 3.12. For organizing the treatment of the program, once you have defined with the water treatment, the requirement they organize with the personnel to implement with the program, the organizing process, the consider identifying staff, with the training them to execute the program, and integrating with the program to overall installation management. Operating trainer. The operating trainer is essential for the water treatment the program of the operator, the understanding the operation specific plant read with the specified procedure with include with the requirement of the title CFR Title 29 Parts 1 1910 to 1200. As with the communication, understanding the region of any result of the chemical treatment that is essential for the knowledge of the thermodynamic and mechanical interaction for the plant and equipment. It is important for the operation to be particular aware of safe operating procedures since internal chemical treatment of the boiler water system water is a significant factor for achieving a reliable, efficient plant operation. Operators should have an understanding of the subject of the training should include the specific water treatment that related with the cost. Pre-treatment and training. With the pre-treatment and training, pre-treatment is necessary to ensure the quality of the water treated for industrial use, preventing and reducing the associated problems such as the deposit of the curve of the training might address these method of the pre-treatment depending on the type of the plant. Chemical addition, ion exchange, RO, and distillation. Treatment of water, treatment of training. With the steam boiler, the hydro water treatment system, including water treatment system, require the treatment of the feed water to prevent the produce deposit of the scale of corrosion microorganism. Boiler water treatment, the trading related with the boiler water treatment that should address the safety internal boiler water treatment, the deaeration, oxygen scavenging, maintenance of the concentration level, the color effect, the deposit scale, and the corrosion chemical treatment programs, such as the phosphate with the polymer, sulfite with the hydronides, and others where the defeat the chemical defect with the carryover silica steam purity prevailing ASME internal standards corrosion compensating the returns of the oxide iron copper the effect of the filming and neutralizing aminamines or hydrazines boiler layup of the procedure cooling system and treatment. The training for the treatment of the cooling system feed water should include once through the cooling water system, the recirculation cooling water system, need for means of maintaining clean condensers, chemical, and the method of the treatment and cycle of the concentration. Blow down either both of the cooling and steam system to regulate with the cycle of concentration of the solids of the dilution, make up the water with the training associated with the blow down. Procedures include surface of air versus bottom internal provisions, estimating blow down, continuous intermittent control cycle on concentration, high recovery flash tanks, heat exchangers, and boilers. Program content. The training should be provided with the secretary with the operating capabilities, weekly sessions, handout, periodic review. The testing should be planned with the assessment of the trainer needs retention, understanding of the material, the effectiveness of the teaching method, and subjects such as basic water chemistry, chemistry concepts, water chemistry, chemistry fundamental of the elementary water treatment, water chemical chemistry application, water treatment equipment, boiler water treatment, raw water treatment, iron exchange, cooling water treatment. Feed water quality limit. The limit of the specific type of the boiler for the operating of the pressure for the steam and the application for the steam for the feed water for the competency for the makeup of the water, condensate for the return of the recovery as much for the uncontaminated condensate as possible. Viable concern for the source of the water, boiler water, the treatment, the benefits derived with both the energy and the water conservation, high purity for the uncontaminated condensate, minimize the requirement for the treatment, the makeup of the water and the boiler water, the feed water parameters do not specify the limits, but the alkaline silica for the cover to assume these levels of the boiler water will be limited through the blowdown and high pressure boiler for the demineralized makeup of the make with alkaline and silica will be very low with the absent or even absent, although not specified the make of the sense. Reduce the feed water with alkaline and silica boilers with the pressure less than 900 pounds per square inch would allow with the increase of the cycle on concentration. Consequently, reduce the chemical of the demand of the table to show the limit of the hardness, iron, copper. Hardness of iron can be removed with the softening of the makeup of the iron and copper may still be present with the feed water if they are not present with the concept of the due with the corrosion. And many instances of these limits cannot be met with the small heating boilers, oxygen content feed water for the boilers with the lack of the deaerator, hardness for the feed water for the boilers, lack of softeners. The only alternative, the chemically treated the boiler water with the control of the cycle on concentration is required. So the feed water on property, and ASME, ABMA, and USAAs. Feed water property, ASMSE, AMBA, ASCA, U.S. Army Corps of Engineering. Feed water property limit. And then on the side, ASME feed water limited industrial water tube boilers. Table 35 ASME suggested feed water limited marine pollution propulsion water to boiler. Boiler water chemistry limits. Table 3, 6 through 39 show the boiler water with the chemistry with the limit specifically with the type of the boiler with the operating pressure with the steam application. 3 types of electrolyte with the first come with the present with the natural constitution of the water with the TDF with the conductive with the silica with the alkalinity with the Z constitutes can be controlled with the cyclone concentration, the blowdown of the ultimate required to keep the level of the limits of the SS as a result of the precipitation of the minerals. The capital limited the bottom of the blowdown. The second type of the treatment limited with the chemical with the additive of the boiler. Table 310 through 311. Boiler water property is now 300 0 to 300 psi gauge, 301 101 to 600 psi gauge. And then you have your ASME boiler water limited with the industrial water tubes, the boiler water, and then there's different psi gauges. Boiler water properties and limit. Boiler water properties and limit 450 to 850 psi gauge, 851 to 1250 psi gauge. All right, treatment guidelines, low pressure steam. Treatment the guideline with a boiler operating less than 15 pounds per square inch over the determined side of the table that's described in the table 318 with the cast iron boiler with the boilers less than 10 horsepower not treated. Boilers greater than 95% of the condensate with the return with each of the tree with the same with the closed and hot water boiler with the tree with the same with the boiler with the less than 95% condensated return with the lateral use of the external treatment using softening of the internal chemical treatment that includes scale with the inhibitor with the precipitating type of the phosphate with the stabilizing with the phosphonates with the polymer with the sulfite with the control diluting due to the oxygen neutralizing amonime with the control of the pH of the condensating system. Sometimes the pH of the boiler requires supplemental source of the alkalinity, usually supplemental source caustic soda, but it also cause sodium carbonate or soda ash. Boiler with the guidelines. Alright, 3-6. Treatment with the guideline medium and high pressure steam. With the treatment of the medium, the 816 to 299 pounds per square inch, with the high pressure facility 300 to 900 pounds per square inch with the boiler, similar with the described with the table 311. With the treatment that can be included with either precipitating with the phosphate, stabilizing phosphonate, or polymers, or principle of the scale control sulfite with the control pitting due with the oxygen, neutralize with the amonime with the U with the control of the pH with the condensating system. Sometimes return with the pH of the boiler water required with the supplemental source of the alkalinity, usually short with the caustic soda. Awesome sodium carbonate, soda ash, boiler operating between 600 and 900 pounds per square inch will sometimes use the earthiopic acid, special volatile oxygen scavengers or amines, oxygen scavengers in the boiler water, the volatile compounds, all scavenging oxygen and condensating system. So the parameters in boiler water treatment control. Alright, 3-7. The condensate with the corrosion and control with the oxygen carbonate dioxide with the common steam condensate with the impurity with the problem with the condensate with the corrosion life with the common with the process the contaminants each with the corrosive with the properties dependent with the nature of the contaminated materials that may be the corrode with the piping found with the steam condensated system the most commonly constructed with the mild steel with the wear of the heat exchangers with the copper and mild steel. Treatment guideline with a very high pressure steam. The treatment with a very high pressure for those 900 pounds per square inch with the boiler is different with those with the low pressure because of the temperature of the pressure is much more extreme in the boiler that can tolerate little or way over the boiler with the wear impurity. Table 312 with the provide with the guide and treatment guidelines. Your parameters and boiler water treatment control. Boiler operator duties. Operator should keep the feed water with a cycle line concentration from the treatment level of the program control limits at all time. Operator must perform the record keeping an asset of the trends of the result of the system and the performance of the test routine. When chain of the feed water with the TDF of the chemical treatment level, the curve of the operator must investigate the result of the region of these chain of the boiler operator with the need to understand the equipment and how it operates. Does it operate seasonally? Does it operate intermittently? Does it amount with the concept of the return value of the chemical with the return required adjustment of the chemical treatment? Chapter 4. Chemical requirements of the boiler startup and starting. Testing.